What's up, bro? Today, I'm just gonna teach you how to stop fighting your cravings and stop fighting the food noise, right? I used to be close to 300 pounds. I was 260, 270 pounds, obese. And now, this is my physique, right? This is no pump. This is after like a full day eating. I'm like 205 pounds right now. 205 pounds right now. I've been cutting down for the summer, just trying to get more shredded. And this is just what it realistically looks like to lose over 100 pounds, right? This is just the truth, right? I have a little baby skin. I have some stretch marks you can see. But it's just the reality of it, right? Losing 100 pounds. It's not perfect. But for the longest time, I've struggled with, fighting my cravings because let me give you a quick analogy, right? I just posted an Instagram video covering this topic. So if you're not tuned into that, go follow my Instagram link down below. But let's say, like for example, for me, I lost 100 pounds, right? The fat kid mentality is still there. It's like, imagine like a fucking monster in a dungeon in a cage, right? He's still in here. And as long as I'm alive, he's still gonna be in here, right? So I have to make sure that when this monster wants to eat, like ever so often, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, when I really have that craving, when I know if I don't have this craving, like I'm gonna crash out, I'm gonna binge like maybe a week later because I was so over restrictive. That's like the monster, if you don't feed the monster, he's gonna break out of the dungeon, he's gonna cause mayhem, right? That's pretty much how I look at it now, right? I still have the fat kid mentality deep inside of, deep rooted into my head. The fat kid is still there, right? So instead of fighting those cravings, I'm locked in 95% of the time. But when I really, I feel that monster asking for food, really, it doesn't mean every single day, every week, it doesn't mean have a cheat day. Just listen to the monster, it doesn't mean, I'm not giving you an excuse, right? But it's just like, once you get to where I am, I'm not saying I have a crazy physique or anything, but once you lose the weight, you have to, or as you lose weight too, bro, you have to work with the monster because it's part of you still. So you have to just feed it just enough so that it's satisfied ever so slightly, ever so often, right? This doesn't mean have cheat days. This doesn't mean to completely fall off your calorie deficit. It means to just, when you really do have that craving, this is what I do. Sometimes, let's say I'm craving an In-N-Out burger and fries. I won't eat my last meal of the day that I usually have, which is just beef and rice and vegetables. I would just swap it out and, I'll try to stay in my calorie limit. If anything, I'll go up to maintenance calories for a day just so I can fit that burger and fries in, right? Because I know if I don't have that burger and fries to feed the monster, he's gonna get mad and he's gonna eventually, maybe a week down the line, he's gonna break out of the cage because I was so locked in. I was so over restricted. He's gonna break in and he's gonna cause mayhem. He's gonna make me go and eat 3 times over the calories that I would have just eaten if I just enjoyed myself in the first place when he really, really wanted it, right? And this is how you have to start thinking, bro. Obviously, be locked in, eat whole foods, single ingredient foods, avoid the seed oils, avoid the food dyes. But ever so often, you have to feed the monster deep in the dungeon. That's what I do now. That's what I do to this day. And this is how I've kept the weight off for over five years, right? And I'm using the same technique to cut down for the summer. I've lost 10 pounds in a month and a half. And I still use the same principle that I'm explaining to you. Just the other day, my mom visited. She was in town. I went over and she offered me a plate of her home-cooked meal, right? A home-cooked meal for my mom. Why would I turn that down? I was so locked in, but I still decided to just have it because I was craving it for one, and for two, I don't know how long my mom is gonna be here. God forbid something happens, but I just decided to I literally just swap out my last meal. I ate her enchiladas, whatever you want to call it, however you want to pronounce it. It was a Mexican dish. I ate it and I just accompanied it with a protein shake, and I had it as my last meal. I didn't overthink it. I acted like it didn't even happen, right? I just fed the monster in here, and I kind of I scratched that itch of having that little junk food like itch. I scratched it. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I didn't go and binge, because I didn't have that mindset of like, oh, like I'm already off track, might as well just eat everything in sight. No, I didn't have that mentality. The mentality I had was, okay, I'm gonna enjoy myself a little bit. I'm gonna just act like it didn't happen, and I'm going to just wake up tomorrow and hop right back on track. I'm not gonna go and binge eat, because I could, anytime I have a craving, I'll really let myself have it. That's my mindset, right? So that's how I ultimately broke, my binge eating disorder as well, because I used to have a crazy binge eating disorder. Sometimes you just have to eat the food, right? Sometimes it's just bad to be so restrictive on yourself. And I promise you, when you adapt this mindset and you start working with the food noise, you start working with the cravings, it's gonna be so much easier. But obviously, you have to have a diet in place, that's high protein, that tastes good, that's healthy, that's nutritious, so you're full, so you're not thinking about food, all the time. But sometimes when you do think about food, you just have to have it. You just sometimes have to have the cheat meal. That's my motto, okay? Like I said, doesn't mean have a whole cheat day. It just means swap out one of your meals for a little cheat meal. It doesn't mean to go 10,000 calories over your limit for the day. Because at the end of the day, if you're in a deficit, at the end of the day, what matters most is calories, right? But I like to make sure that most of my calories are nutritious, high protein, no seed oils, no BS ingredients. That's why, that's why I could credit that to how I'm looking today, right? I feel the best I ever have felt, over like 4 or 5 years, with my physique. Even though I'm not as lean as I could be, I'm still gonna lose maybe 10 more pounds, 8 to 10 more pounds, so I could be shredded for summer. I still have great energy eating like this. Like literally all I eat is beef, potatoes, avocado, some pico, Greek yogurt, protein powder. What else? What else do I have? That's pretty much it. Red meats, potatoes, rice, some vegetables, lots of fruits, Greek yogurt. I have sardines, just food that is just really healthy. It nourishes the body, right? That makes the food noise go away, bro. When I eat like this, I'm not thinking about food. I'm not thinking about junk food all the time like this, because when I eat good, when I eat healthy, it makes me feel amazing, bro. It makes me look amazing. And it's like I'm chasing that dopamine. I just get addicted, right, to eating healthy. Sometimes I do have those cravings, and I just implement what I just explained to you of, feeding the monster in the dungeon. When you feed the monster in the dungeon, it's important to, like I said, not fall off the track completely, because there is a balance to this. There is a fine line to it. It's a skill you have to learn. You have to have the willpower to just cut it off at that cheat meal. You can't keep going the rest of the night eating like shit, because that's how you get into the binge and restrict cycle. So I'm gonna give you an analogy. So every time that you eat off track a little bit, you don't feel guilty. You don't feel ashamed of yourself, right? Let's say all the healthy food that you're eating is just like construction workers, and your body is the construction site, right? So the construction workers are coming in, and they're working on your body, which is the construction site, right? Like I said, let's say you want a little cheat meal because your monster really needs it. Real quick, this doesn't mean have a cheat meal every week. Have that shit like every month, every 2 weeks, bro. Don't have it. Some people, you can afford it once a week, right? Sometimes I do that, I'm not gonna lie. But if you're fat, if you're super overweight, you shouldn't be having more than once a week. You should be so locked in to the point where you have like once a month, maybe once every 2 months. The better you start looking, the leaner you get. That's when you can start to afford more cheat meals like that, to feed the, sorry, it's been a long day, to feed the monster in the dungeon, right? But like I said, going back to the analogy of the construction site. Your body is a construction site. All the healthy food going in are construction workers. Just imagine a whole week goes by, you have nothing but construction workers working on your body, inside your body. You have a little cheat meal on Saturday. You know, maybe you swap out one of your meals, like I said, for a cheat meal, whatever it is. And you start to feel guilty, and you start to have like this scarcity mindset of like, I might as well get all my cravings out the way. First of all, if you eat just one cheat meal, just imagine a dog running inside of the job site, right? What do you think one dog is gonna do? Like, if you think about it in the real world, if there's a construction site, if you drive past the construction site, there's probably some big ass construction workers, right? If a dog runs in there, they're probably gonna scare it off. It's not gonna do much to the workers, or it's not gonna make them fall back on their schedule. But that's where you have to cut the line. Because if you keep eating and junk food because you have that scarcity mindset of like, let me get all my cravings out right now, the dogs are gonna go inside and they're gonna ruin the construction site, right? They're gonna maybe attack the workers, which is the bad food is gonna attack the good food. It's just gonna fuck up the construction site. It's gonna fuck up the schedule of the building, which is, you're trying to build this building by summer, which means just get shredded by summer, get lean by summer, lose fat by summer. The dogs are gonna scare off the construction workers, and that's when you fall into like this binge, and you feel terrible. The next day you wake up and all these dogs are left in the construction site. You scared off all the construction workers, right? And then you repeat again because you just feel like shit. But I know exactly how you feel, right? That's why it's so important that this is a skill that you build, right? You have to learn how to cut the line. And I just really like to think of, I could have whatever I want whenever I want if I really need it. So there's no point into binge eating because it's just gonna fucking throw me off. Nothing tastes as good as being lean. Nothing tastes as good. Like, this is the leanest I've been in a while, bro. And I let myself get, this is like out of shape to me, bro, because honestly, not too long ago, I got cheated on, right? And I was just really comfortable in a relationship. I wasn't as disciplined with my diet. I wasn't as disciplined with going to the gym. So that reflected onto my physique, and that's why I kind of maybe gained like 20 pounds, 30 pounds of fat. This is out of shape to me right now, right? I'm trying to get shredded again for the summer, and I'm trying to show you how I'm doing it and how I'm going back to that, that first mentality when I first lost 100 pounds in like less than a year. I'm picking up, the old tricks, and I'm building new tricks as I go, and I just want to share it with you so your fat loss journey could be as easy as possible. Like, I remember when I was first starting off, I had no idea what I was doing. There was only fitness influencers that didn't grow up, being a fat kid, so they didn't know the struggles. They didn't know like the deep-rooted struggles of, a fat person goes through, right? And that's what I want to be for you. That's what I want to help you with, bro, is make this shit as easy as possible, as enjoyable as possible. And if you need more help, just go look at my videos, go look at my Instagram. I post on my story every single day. More free game, more free advice, more, meal ideas, workout ideas, routine ideas. Just kind of base your day off of what I go off of, right? And I hope you could take all of these little analogies, all these little tricks, and finally, kill the battle with your food cravings and your food noise, and combine yourself as one. Another little quick tip with the food noise. Food noise is just pretty much like when you're dieting down and you're just always thinking about food. You're thinking about the next time you eat. I used to get that shit a lot, bro. Like I said, switching over to a whole foods diet, super nutritious, healthy food, single ingredient food, no bullshit, high protein, has really allowed me, really spacing out my meals and saving my bigger meals for the, I know my body. I know I get the hungriest at night, so I'm gonna save my biggest meal for nighttime. That's just what works for me. I usually fast all morning because I work long shifts. I'm a truck driver, so I wake up, drink a double espresso, and I'll fast until like noon to 2 p.m. That's when I have my first meal of the day, and then after that I come home. Like just now, I had 4 bananas. I'm about to go to the gym. Super late. I've just been recording videos for you guys because I've just been wanting to get these ideas out before they leave my brain. But 4 bananas before the gym, some pre-workout, and then I come home and have the biggest meal of the day because that's when I get the hungriest. And I just make sure I space out the meals with protein in pretty much every single meal. Like right now, I'm hungry because it's pretty late. I only had 4 bananas. I didn't have any protein, but I'm just gonna go work out because I've been having like 2 hours of sleep every night because I've been having long days at work and I still been in the gym after work. I haven't made no excuses. So I just want to get in the gym. I want to get this workout over with so I can come home, eat, fall asleep, catch up on some sleep, and then wake up at 4 a.m. to do it all over again. I started doing cardio at 4 a.m. Like I said, go tune in on my Instagram, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.